this class. We will look at in this class the sales function with respect to two marketing mix elements in this particular slide. So what we are looking at is the expenses one company is going to incur on advertising and also on sales promotion. So two types of graphs are presented here. The graph here is an isometric view. If you see, there is a constant mix line, there is a constant budget line. What does it indicate? Suppose the budget you are asked to keep it constant, that is, you cannot vary the budget. Then what can you do as a marketing manager? You can start in this constant budget to adjust the amount spent on advertising and the amount spent on sales promotion. So this graph, which is in the isometric view, that is a three-dimensional graph, it presents to you the constant budget line. It also presents to you the constant mix line. So in this constant budget line, if you see, you have an A1 and an S1. It is for the level of A1, that is advertising expenditure, you have the corresponding sales promotion expenditure at S1. Similarly, with respect to A2 and S2, similarly with respect to A2 and S3. Depending on what you are going to do as the adjustments for A and S, you will have different qualities of sales, that is quantity of sales. You have it at Q1 for A1 S1, Q2 for A2 S2, Q3 for A3 S3. So you have three quantities of sales coming for different advertising and sales promotion budgets. So you can adjust your A1 and S, you can adjust your A and S's in such a manner, you can get slightly different quantities of sales. If you see, your Q2 is higher compared to Q1 and Q3, you are getting a slightly higher quantity of sales presented to Q2. So a marketing mix manager is likely to adopt or go to this combination of Q2 and A1, A2 and S2 to get that Q2. So he may like to have his advertising expenditure at A2, his sales promotion expenditure at S2, so that he can realize this Q2 sales. Now all this could also be represented by a two-dimensional graph. That is, you have got advertising on the y-axis and sales promotion on the x-axis. Now you draw the three sales curves, that is Q equal to 75, Q equal to 100 and Q equal to 150. Now in order to get at the corresponding combination of A's and S's, for getting this sales quantity, what you are going to do is draw a tangent to each of these curves, that is each of these isosales curves, you draw a tangent, and when you draw a tangent, the point at which this tangent cuts this isosales curves, it gives the constant budget line where you can get the combination of A and S, the combination of A and S. So this is very useful to the marketing manager because he has to make decisions. What is he trying to get by doing this? He is getting the optimal marketing mix for a given marketing budget. So in this first diagram, that is the three-dimensional diagram, what we have looked at is the relation of sales to different marketing mixes of advertising and promotion. What we are looking at in the next diagram is finding the optimal marketing mix for a given marketing budget. So here you are representing it as a three-dimensional diagram. Here you are representing it as a two-dimensional graph, and whichever is more understood by you, you can take that particular method of representation. If you think that it is better for you to have a two-dimensional graph where you can see with reference to different sales curves, that is the ISO sales curves, you can get a combination of the advertising and the sales promotion expenditures. So in other words, what we are trying to do in this is, for the marketing manager, creating different scenarios. Okay, you take two elements, advertising and sales promotion, and now you look at the constant, your budget is constant, you have the constant mix line, you find out how you can do different mixes of advertising and sales promotion. What could be the sales? Now when your budget is constant, here in this second graph, you can look at drawing a tangent to each of these sales curves, that is the ISO sales curves, to get the optimal marketing mix for a given marketing budget. Okay. So from this we move up further. Why we are doing all this? This is the next question we have to answer. We are doing all this to devise different business unit strategies, and from the different business unit strategies, you go to the corporate strategy. But kindly note that if there are 5 business units, if you summate that 5 business unit strategies, you will not get the corporate strategy. In other words, corporate strategy is not the summation of the individual business strategies. That formula does not work there. When we are looking at strategic marketing, we are looking at the business unit strategy. When we are looking at the corporate strategy, we are looking at the strategy of the company as a whole. So the business unit strategy looks at the individual business units. The corporate strategy looks at the company as a whole. There are few things which are very critical to any company. One is what is called the strategic decision. What is a strategic decision? This decision is likely to have a long-term effect. It is not that you took this decision today and tomorrow you can reverse this decision. It is not possible. Compare it with the tactical decision. Tactical decision is, in order to achieve the strategic marketing objectives, you will make some adjustments in the operational strategy. Those decisions can be dynamic in nature. You can take it on a day-to-day basis, and when you take it on a day-to-day basis, along with those decisions, you will have different budget scenarios coming in, you will have different mixes scenarios coming in, but all with the ultimate objective of achieving the strategic objective with respect to the business unit. So when you are looking at a business unit, you are looking at strategic marketing with respect to the business unit. When you are looking at the company as a whole, you are looking at corporate strategy. A strategic decision cannot be reversed. A tactical decision is dynamic in nature, and it depends on the situation that is prevalent in the market. Depending on what type of situation comes in the market, you keep sometimes proactively acting to that or reactively responding to that. So it is a dynamic decision which is taken to achieve the strategic objectives which you had earlier envisaged with respect to the business unit. So in this slide, what we have tried to present is, one is the business unit strategy, second is the what strategic marketing is concerned with, third is the difference between the strategic decision and the tactical decision. let us look at the salient features of strategic marketing. What is that we are trying to do when we are looking at strategic marketing? The important aspect that we are looking at is emphasis of long-term implications. As a marketing manager, you may have to take decisions which are spur of the moment. That spur of the moment decisions are not coming into strategic decisions. Kindly note. You might have one customer might bring to your knowledge that a particular product is available at a much lower price than is being sold in your store. Then you may have to take a decision to decrease the price of the product in your store. That is a reaction to what is happening in the marketplace. Kindly note that this is not a strategic decision. This is a tactical decision where you are saying, as a marketing manager, I have taken the decision to decrease the price of this product. So you can see in a place like Big Bazaar, take these vegetables. The price of vegetables are constantly changing. Today you may have one price for tomatoes, tomorrow it may be increasing or it may be decreasing depending on the supply that is coming in. A very good example could be your onion. A few days back, the price of onion had shot up to more than 60 rupees per kg. Now, with the supplies increasing due to several government measures like putting a ban on export of onions and also taxing the import of onions, what has happened is you have a higher supply of onions to the market. So if you looked at the price of onion today, you are getting it around 30 to 35 rupees per kg. So what was some 60 plus rupees per kg, you are getting it at 30 to 35. The indications are that it is likely to come down further. Okay. So as a marketing manager, if you are in charge of this unit, that is the vegetables unit, you have to be always on the go. On the go meaning that you have to keep a watch on what your competitors are selling, at what price they are selling. When you are doing this, when you are taking this type of a decision, there are some implications. You reacted to a situation by saying, since the other competitor is offering at a lower price, I am trying to match his price at best or even offer lower. But you have to look at what is going to be the long-term implications of such decision making. So if you take an outlet like Big Bazaar, on Wednesdays, he offers many of these vegetables at a much lower price compared to his competitors. He puts the condition that one can pick up only 2 kgs of olives or 3 kgs of onions. So what does the usual cart vendors or others who do business of these onions or olives or different vegetables do? They come to this Big Bazaar in large numbers, that is their own group comes and takes these 2 kgs, 3 kgs at a much lower price, and he will sell that good at a much higher price in his own cart or any this open market. So this type of implication also the marketing manager has got to study. Suppose the price of a particular good is at X. For a particular day, if you say I am going to reduce it by 0.5x, it becomes instead of x 0.5x. What are the long-term implications? What is going to happen? So many of these vegetables may be perishable in nature, and these vegetables have to be sold during a particular time frame. So you may be at an advantage or disadvantage with respect to the pricing decisions, which the marketing manager has to watch very, very closely. So in other words, the job of a strategic marketing manager is a tough job. It is not an easy job. One is he has to be constantly looking at what is happening in the marketplace. Second is whatever decisions he is going to take, it will have implications. Implications with respect to the company as a whole. And he has the obligation to explain why he took this decision if asked by the management. So he has to convince the management as to why these decisions are taken from his side. In other words, the strategic marketing manager always has to be very objective in his decision making. So clarity in decision making is called for. Now, in order to enable him to do this, he may get inputs from the corporate also. That is, a company might provide him a lot of inputs, saying that, take example of Big Bazaar. He may provide him Reliance Fresh is pricing this product at this rate, Walmart is pricing at this rate. All those types of things might be, these inputs might be provided to him from the corporate body of this Big Bazaar itself. Now, depending on the type of inputs that he is getting, he may have to change the roles for different products and markets. So, for different products and markets, you may have to adopt different roles. For a perishable market, a different role. For a durable market, a different role. So, consumer durables may call for a different pricing strategy. Consumer perishables may call for a different pricing strategy. In other words, this marketing manager's job, that is the strategic marketing manager's job, is extremely challenging, and he has to be watchful always. Business landscape in which he is operating poses for him so many challenges on an hour-to-hour basis. When these challenges are coming to him on an hour-to-hour basis, he has to many times act proactively or reactively. So when you go to many of these stores, you may find so many salespeople also there. You may also find so many middle-level managers also being there, assisting the salespeople. Why they are assisting the salespeople? They are helping them with many decision making inputs. So whenever suppose some supply of some material is not there, the job of this middle level manager is to find out how can this supply get augmented or immediately replenished. All these types of decisions are taken by middle level marketing managers. So this is, in other words, this strategic marketing and corporate strategy, they are intertwined. You cannot really separate. But as I mentioned earlier, when you are looking at strategic marketing, you are looking at a business unit. By just summating the strategies of the different business units, you are not going to get the corporate strategy. That is, just the sums are not going to result in the corporate strategy. When you are looking at the corporate strategy, you look at a more holistic picture compared to what you are looking at with respect to the business unit. So this is how the strategic marketing and the corporate strategy are linked and also slightly different.